Hello and welcome from Dublin and Dún Laoghaire Education and Training Board. We run a very wide range of training courses to suit most ambitions. The purpose of this video is to assist you with the first step in applying for a course online. In order to access this online facility, you will need to open your favorite web browser and navigate to www.fetchcourses.ie. This website contains information on all the further education and training courses available from DDL-ETB. Not only that, if you are registered on Fetchcourses, you can apply for a course from the comfort of your own home or wherever you access the internet. It is really important that you complete the registration process correctly and provide all the necessary information. There is certain basic information that will be required as part of this process, namely your PPS number, your medical card number if you have one, and your status regarding any state benefits that you may be receiving. You will also need your email address to hand. If you do not currently have an email account, we would ask you to seriously consider creating one with any of the many providers available. With this in mind, we have published a video aimed at assisting you with setting up an email account. It should also be mentioned at this point that there is an option to use an Irish mobile phone number as opposed to an email address. However, we strongly recommend using an email address. Once you are sure you have all the relevant information to hand, you are ready to begin the registration process. Firstly, you need to open your web browser and navigate to fetchcourses.ie. This is the home page that greets you. The next step is to enter the registration page, which is found by clicking on the word register. This will bring you to the main registration page, which looks something like this. As you can see, you were only asked for basic information at this point. All the fields in this section are required, so they must be completed. The password you set has to follow a certain format. It must contain both upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. An example would be MY, percentage, uppercase F, lowercase ETCH 21. Try to make the password something you can easily remember, or record it in a safe and secure place. If you are using a computer that you are certain that no one else will use, you could consider saving your password to the browser memory. Most, if not all browsers, support this feature. Having filled out all the fields, including the clarification that you are not a robot and that you have read the terms and conditions, you can click on Register. This will cause an automatic email to be sent to the address that you have provided. This will contain a link you need to click on to verify your email address. That completes the first stage of the process. Once you've clicked Register, you are brought to this Welcome page. There are three main options on this page. You can view any current applications you may have and check their progress. There is the Course Finder option. And finally, there is the My Details option, which is the one we are most interested in at this point. Clicking on either of the options here will bring you to the next section of the process. You can see that there are a number of tabs along the top of this section, and we will look at each of them in turn. Before you can move any further, you are required to turn your attention to the data protection statement. This informs you as to how your information will be handled and protected. Clicking on the blue link will let you see this information in a new window. If you are satisfied with this information, you can scroll to the bottom of the page and click Accept. This will allow you to progress to inputting more detailed information. The first step in achieving this is to click on the Edit button at the bottom of the page. This page concentrates on your contact details, address, phone, etc., along with other personal information like date of birth, gender, geographical origins, and nationality. Your Personal Public Services Number, or PPSN, will also have to be inputted here. On the bottom right, you can see a section titled Emergency Contacts. Although this is not compulsory, we would ask you to provide at least one contact here, as your safety is our number one priority in all of our training venues. Your completed page should look something like this. With regard to entering your address, if you have your air code, entering it here will save you a little time. When entering an air code, enter the first 3 characters, followed by a space, then the remaining 4 characters. You will also notice that there are separate fields for nationality and country of birth. This is to accommodate persons whose nationality differs from their place of birth. Clicking Next will bring us to this section. As you can see, this page is dedicated to collecting relevant information regarding your status with social welfare payments. The first section refers to medical cards. If you do not have one, click No and move on. If you do, please provide your medical card number and its expiry date. Following that, your attention is turned to any payment you may be receiving from the Department of Social Protection. Your answer to the first question, which of the following applies to you, will dictate how the rest of this page looks. If you answer none of the above, then you will move straight to the next section. Should your answer be dependent of a social welfare stroke training payment recipient or medical card holder, you will be asked about your relationship to the person you are dependent on. If you answer signing for credits, the information required will be the length of time that you have been signing for credits. Please only fill one of these boxes. If you are signing for credits for less than a year, give the duration in weeks in the upper box. If the duration exceeds a year, give the duration in years in the lower box. Finally, if you indicate that you are in receipt of a social welfare payment, you will be asked to pick the particular payment from the list that will appear. It is possible that more than one of the options apply to your particular situation. If that is the case, please pick each of the options that apply to you. Similarly to the credits option, you will be asked for the duration of your receipt of social welfare payment. As per credits, there should be information in one box only. The final part of this section refers to your legal status should you have come to Ireland from a country outside the European Economic Area. If you do not come from any of the countries shown here in purple or brown, this section applies to you. If you come from the EEA or the UK, you can skip this section, save your work, and move to the following section. If you indicate that you have a GNIB card, you will be asked for the expiry date of that card. The next two questions only require yes or no answers. That is another section of the form completed. In the next section, you will be asked for details of your education history and about any learning supports that you may require. The first section here relates to your highest academic level achieved so far. For this, you would choose the option from the drop-down list that best describes your attainment. It would be helpful if you could supply the title of the course you attended to achieve your certification. You are also asked to give details of the country in which you were certified and the year of your certification. You are also asked about whether you have gained any qualification or educational credits through formal recognition of prior learning. This relates to any official certification you have that was rewarded to you because of previous informal learning. For example, work experience. The lower part of this page concentrates on potential needs for learning supports. It should be noted that this is an exercise in information gathering, and identifying a need for learning support will not automatically result in this support being provided. The first question asks you to indicate if you require any of the supports from the list given. Please mark all of the options here that apply to you. Equally, if none of these options are applicable to you, make sure that you mark the none of the above option. The second question refers to supports that are not included in the list in the previous question. This question could be used to signal hearing or sight issues, neurodivergence, or other challenges that you may face. If you answer yes here, please detail the particular challenge that applies in your case. When you are finished inputting your information here, click on Save to secure your information on the system. You are now ready to move along to the next tab, which is My Status, which looks at your employment status. The first question here inquires about your main economic status as it is at present. You are asked to pick an option from a drop-down list. Please choose the option that most accurately describes your situation. You are also asked to provide the duration of this status. As with earlier examples, please only fill one of these boxes. If it is less than a year, enter the start date of this particular status. This may be when you started a job, finished a job, or started studying, just to give a few examples. You can use the drop-down calendar to navigate to the correct date, or type the date in directly using the format shown. The next question, were you previously employed, requires a simple yes or no answer. Here, you are asked to provide details of your present or last employment. Firstly, you are asked to provide a job title for your current or last employment. Under that, you are asked to provide a duration in years and months. As you can see, there are two options here. one for current, one for last. Please only provide information for one of these options. On the right, there are 3 pieces of information requested. Each of these is accompanied by a drop-down list. For job title, you choose from either full-time or part-time. Employment status is next up. The options here are employee, self-employed, government scheme, or other. Finally, you are asked for type of contract. Again, we would ask you to choose the option that best reflects your situation. Make sure that you save your information. We have reached the end of this particular video. You will have noticed there is another tab at the top of the page that we haven't yet visited. This is called Further Details. As you can see on screen, this page can only be completed when you have started a course and while you are still on a course. This section will be the subject of a different video, which can be found where you located this video. Thank you for spending this time watching the video. We look forward to going through the process of applying for a course through Fetchcourses with you. Until then, thank you and take care.